Basically, this is the numbers we got for the asymmetries in the slope. Beyond the standard model calculation, do not include to have asymmetries of the order of 10 to the minus 4, so it's a large deviation from the standard model contribution. Another interesting thing about these asymmetries is that they have the same two classes of contribution as epsilon prime k. So they are giving complementary information about direct CP violation to epsilon prime k. Experimentally, several years later, the values for the asymmetries in the slope are given by these numbers. It's still an order of magnitude larger than the standard model prediction. But already they exclude large CP violating effects driven by supersymmetric models. So in 2003, in December 2003, I got my PhD. I defended my thesis. And from the announcement in my PhD thesis, I said that I was in debt to Ximo, and I was sent to him because all the physics I learned from him and because of his continuous support. And I was saying that without him, I wouldn't be able to make this work and to get this thesis done. And also, I thank him not only for being an excellent physicist, but also for being an excellent friend. And I still can say the same thing today. When I was thinking about what I was going to do after the PhD, when I got after getting the PhD, Ximo encouraged me to go into lattice QCD, to change a little bit the subject and go into lattice QCD. But for me, it was a little bit scary because I didn't know anything about lattice. I had not worked on lattice before. I knew very little about it. So it was like starting from scratch to learn a new whole set of tools and techniques. But he encouraged me to do that, to jump into it, and to learn all this new stuff. And today I can say that it was a great advice. And I'm very happy of having done this. Still, I went into lattice and I changed the techniques that I was using, but the topics that I was interested in after finishing the PhD and being a postdoc are the same that I learned from Ximo, that I learned how to enjoy and how to work on with Ximo. For example, the last calculation I did in the continuum was this calculation of the BK parameter with Ximo and Hans. And the first calculation I do in the lattice was the calculation of the same parameter, BK. In fact, I gave a talk, one of the first talks I gave as a postdoc was a comparison between continuum and lattice calculations of the parameter BK. The relation between lattice and continuum was the main topic of this conference, this workshop in Menasque in the summer of 2004, matching like quarks into hadrons. And I remember this workshop like a very enjoyable time. I enjoyed a lot working and discussing with Ximo in a couple of projects that we were working together at that time, and also talking about him, with him about the things I was starting to learn about lattice QCD and the things we can do together with his expertise, together with the new lattice techniques that I were learning. And also, it was a lot of fun just hiking and going to the mountains in Benasque with Ximo and also with Hans. I remember that most of the days we were having lunch, just getting some bread and tomatoes and cheese and hiking into some mountain and having lunch there. So there are times and things that I did together with Ximo and also with Blanca that I'm always going to remember, that I enjoy very much. For example, Pavel Jankowski was the physicist with whom we learned Sevillanas and Polka, etc. He invited us. He was here only for 5 months, but he became a very good friend of us. And he invited us to his wedding in Warsaw in 2005. So we decided to take a week off and travel around Poland. And then we went to Warsaw to Pavel's wedding. That was a typical Polish wedding that lasted forever. I think we didn't make it until the end, but it was something like 12-hour celebration. And the typical Polish thing is to eat and drink vodka, and then you dance, and then you go back and eat more and drink more vodka, and then you dance more. So it was a lot of fun. And Fernando was in this wedding too. So I have to say that Pavel wanted to come here, and he couldn't make it because he has 2 little kids, and he couldn't figure out how to arrange things, but he wanted to be here today. Also, when Ximo was in sabbatical at CERN in 2007, he was here for a year. Blanca was there too. They had rented an apartment, and I was visiting CERN and staying with them for 2 weeks. And I really felt at home with them there. So it was, I mean, what can be better than that? And it was a lot. It was very a lot of fun just to be there in a conversation with Ximo and the other people in there, talking about the things in which Ximo was an expert, and the things in which Ximo was not an expert, but he was a physicist with a great intuition. He was able to make very intelligent comments, and it was a pleasure just to be in a conversation with him. Also, we were planning to work together again, and we were planning in using the things I have learned about lattice QCD together with the topics and the physics that we both were interested in. We were thinking in doing some kind of study of some rules of 2-point correlators, vector, axial, scalar, pseudo-scalar, and combine that with lattice data in order to extract low energy constant, maybe masses. We didn't talk about details, but we had in mind that we wanted to do something like that, but we couldn't do it. So if I ask myself what I learned from Ximo, if I ask myself what I learned from Ximo about physics, I can look at this talk that I did at Fermilab last year, and if I look at the topics I'm interested now and the topics I'm talking about in my talks, it's just CP violation, flavor physics, how the flavor and CP violating observables can be used in order to test the standard model and in order to try to get information about possible new physics. And that's the things I learned from Ximo, and those are the things that I learn how to enjoy and how to be passionate about with Ximo. Now I learn new techniques and new tools, but still I want to understand the same kind of physics that I discussed and Ximo told me about. And besides the physics, also what I learned from him is how to be, I learned honesty and integrity as a researcher. He was a perfectionist. He didn't like to have loose ends in the calculations, in the analysis. He liked to do the things in the right way and in the good way. He liked the good work. Also, I learned how to be an excellent PhD advisor, and the most time with time, I realized more and more how good he was as a PhD advisor, and not only in the research part, but also in everything related to career, all the advices that he gave me about what to do, when to do it, and everything that was good for me as a physicist and career-wise. And finally, the most important thing is I learned from him how to be a loyal friend, and besides everything else, over everything else, Ximo was a good person, and that's the most important thing about him for me. So I only can say thanks, Ximo.